Welcome into Kitchen Talk Pickleball Edition. I'm your host, Caitlin Miller, and this week joining us is Ty Butson. Ty is a pickleball content creator, also on a journey to becoming pro. Ty, good to see you.
Good to see you too, Caitlin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So Ty, tell me a little bit about your story. I know you said you grew up playing a lot of sports, basketball, track, but you actually got injured, and that's how you discovered this whole path to pickleball.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story, but I just played pretty much every sport you can think of growing up, mostly basketball, soccer, baseball. So did that all growing up, just loved all things sports, pretty much could play, kind of pick up anything and play it. And I got into track and field in high school, and actually ran for Independence High School. Not that you need to know that, but
Yeah.
anyways, so I ran for them and was doing pretty well actually. But later in the season, actually, I think it was junior year, I injured my foot. So I couldn't run, but I could do kind of other athletic things that don't require, so much force on my foot. And I think this was around Christmas break. It happened to be super good weather, and luckily there's pickleball courts right in our neighborhood, which is pretty lucky. But I was just walking by. I was walking by them one day, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I should just try this and see what happens, because I used to make fun of it. All the old people playing it, like I think a lot of us did.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was me a few years ago.
Exactly. So anyways, I just walked in the court, and these old guys were super kind, and they just let me play a ton of games with them. And I just immediately was hooked and had so much fun. And then, from there, just started making some videos, and, here I am. It's kind of crazy, but like, I can remember that was probably like a year and a half ago, like two Decembers ago. So.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, that has happened quick. And now, obviously, you're creating a lot of instructional content. When did you start, or I guess what inspired you to start creating videos and doing all this stuff?
Yeah, great question. So growing up, I loved watching cool YouTube videos, cool creators on whether it's Instagram or any platform. Always just been inspired by like the creativity you can have through video, and how you can, tell a story or teach, provide some kind of value. So I knew I always wanted to do something like that through sports, most likely. And pickleball was just a perfect way to do that. And I've always loved teaching as well. So I kind of combined the two, and just kind of went all for it on initially Instagram, but have now tried pushing towards YouTube and a little bit on TikTok. And just kind of content is always a really fun thing, because you can create whatever videos you want to create, and you just have a lot of freedom to be creative, so always loved that side of content. Yeah.
And since you first started like creating the content to now, like what are some of the things that you've learned to make it more, creative or better for the viewer to watch?
Yeah. I've experimented a little bit. At first, I think initially, like, a lot of people just want to know how to play pickleball better or get better somehow. So I started with mostly those types of videos. So that, initially got me, I did a little bit better using those types of videos. But from that, just trying to be, more creative can be tough, because those videos don't necessarily do better or do well.
Yeah.
But I have found some success in like some funny styled video where I think I had a video where I showed me hitting a serve a certain way, and it was the wrong way, but and I actually wasn't trying to do an illegal serve, but I noticed, it was an illegal serve, and people just went crazy about it. But but just trying to think outside the box as much as I can. And I actually look at other creators in different spaces like gym community or even like golf or other sides of content in other areas. So I look at a lot of inspiration from that and then kind of try to mold that into my own types of videos. So I
Yeah.
look
No,
at that kind of stuff.
I was going to say, did it take a little bit of time to like learn about, kind of like the algorithm and when to post and, the fact that like the more creative or complex videos don't necessarily do as well, like just all
Yeah.
those things that really do add up.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I think, for certain people, one video, it can just take one video and you just launch your account, and, but that could be like, you post 200 videos and none of them do well. And then that one does crazy well and you have no idea why. So
Yeah.
it's just that algorithm. You just have no idea sometimes you have a certain idea of what could do well. Like giveaways have done pretty well for me because everyone wants a free paddle or free gear. um,
Right, right.
but yeah, sometimes it feels like a guessing game for sure. But I always have known that if you just stay consistent, something is eventually going to work. You pretty much can't fail if you never stop. So that's always the mindset when I'm making videos. You kind of keep going and stay consistent and things will work out.
I was going to say, yeah, I feel like what I've heard from people is consistency is key. How often are you posting?
I'm posting, well, I was a little bit more consistent a bit ago. It hasn't been super consistent lately, but at one point it was every single day for at least a few months. And I saw great growth through that season. So, I would tell anyone who's just getting started that, posting at least once a day is going to be good for you because you just have more that you can learn off of each post. And I was actually talking with Shay Underwood, um, he's one of my friends I met through Instagram. Um,
Okay.
but I chatted with him and it's the same thing. Just, trying to learn off of each video and trying to make one, tiny adjustment each video and trying to make it slightly better each one. And then posting consistently, a mix of those two things, you're going to do really well. You can't just kind of expect the same video to hopefully do better the next time. You need to make some adjustments.
And one
Yeah.
of the things I always like, I always thought about like if you are posting instructional content, do you ever like run out of things? Like it's like, how do you keep thinking about how many ways can I teach a third shot drop or how to win a dink battle? Like I guess how do you keep like coming up with more content and more ideas?
Yeah. At times you feel like you just kind of run out of ideas.
Yeah,
um,
I give you guys credit. I'm like, oh my gosh, that'd be hard to come up with more and more.
yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a few ways. Like I like to get connected to different people in the area with creative ideas. Like even just talking to my friends, like I'll talk to my friends on like, you're new to pickleball. What's something that you would want to know? Because
Yeah, that's
their
smart.
perspective, it's completely different than an experienced player like I am would want to make. So like how can I provide value for someone who's new to the game? I'll even ask local rec players all the time. Like, hey, what's something that you need to work on or like something that you would like to watch? So, talking to people really helps. I even use like Chat GPT all the time
Yeah.
to just like there's a feature in ChatGPT you can kind of talk to it almost like a person, which is crazy.
I know,
But
isn't it crazy how much? But it's so helpful.
yeah, it's so helpful. So I'll do some brainstorming there, or just kind of watching different things online, or even movies or shows. I can just kind of spark an idea somewhere. Um, it's a variety of a ton of different things, but it's always, I think the main one is probably just asking other people kind of what they
Yeah.
want to see. Yeah.
And is it just like, do you just bring like a tripod and your mic to the court with you, or do you have someone help you film the content, or do you keep it pretty simple? What do you usually do?
So when I first started, it was just me, my iPhone. These things are amazing. They can
They
do it.
are. It's crazy.
So it was that at first, and then a tripod, and I did have like a wireless mic. So it was that set up for a long time, at least the first full year. And then I've met one of my friends. Actually, has been super helpful, and he's been helping me with some video, and he's super experienced. So any of the nicer quality, like I've been messing around with some nicer quality videos. That's kind of like him helping me a lot. So but all that, like, you don't need, like, high quality videos are amazing, but honestly, like, you could do so much with just an iPhone. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I love that. And obviously, journey to becoming pro. So,
Mhm.
you said you started, I guess, almost 2 years ago now. When did you, decide you wanted to become a pro, and where are you at in that journey?
Yeah. So let's see. I mean, I started making videos, but I would say pro was more recently, like a year ago or maybe a little less. And I I just started playing with some really higher level players that I met in the local Nashville area. Um, and just kind of realized, like, I have a skill for this, and I've always been an athlete, and I've always wanted to compete at some pro something. Like, basketball was the first one. Like, I want to
Yeah.
play in the NBA, but that's pretty tough. So I always wanted to be a pro at something growing up, and I started playing pickleball and just kind of realized I have a good skill set for the game. So yeah, probably around that long ago. And the journey now is it's tough. I will say it's pretty tough to um, keep drilling and work on things that you think you need help with. It is super helpful to have people look at your game, someone who's experienced, and see what needs work. So I've worked with some people to kind of help me a little bit. But now the journey is just, yeah, I try to drill as much as I can. That's what all the pros say. Kind of drill a lot.
More than you actually play. Yeah, I know. It's hard to do that, but yeah.
But it's important, that's how you elevate your game. It's how you get better, just getting those reps and playing, and then hopefully playing with some higher level players, which is also tough to find here as well.
Yeah.
Getting those consistent high level play games. So yeah, I would say I drill, way more than I actually play, and that's been the reason why I've gotten a lot better. Um, and then I guess to answer more of your question of like what I'm actually doing to like really play pro, I played a couple PPA tournaments. So I did my very first one in Cincinnati, actually over a year ago, when I didn't quite know if I wanted to do pro, but I think
Was that last September? I think I was
yeah,
there.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it was.
yeah, yeah.
So I did that one. I played 4.5 and I think I
Okay.
went 3-2. So 3 wins, 2 losses. That was pretty good, honestly.
Yeah.
Um, and then played a couple local tournaments, did all right. And then I played just recently the Atlanta PPA. I think that was last month or maybe over a month ago.
Yes.
So I did that. I played 5-0, and I actually played with Shay Underwood. Shout out Shay. And
I love that.
we got 3 wins and 1 loss. It is double elimination, but there was so much rain delay, so I had to leave a little early. But
Okay.
also did pretty well. So I think the next tournament I'm playing the Selkirk one in August 7th. I think that's the Kansas City. Yeah, I think it's that one. But either way, so I'm gonna be playing pro qualifier and see how it goes.
Good
So
for you. And is that for what are you going to do? Singles, men's, or mixed?
I'm playing singles and men's. I don't have a mixed partner yet, but maybe we could play at some point.
I know. We have to play more often. We literally live in the same area.
I know. Yeah.
No, that's fun. I want to play in the Atlanta one again in September because I still have yet, and we're not even far from Atlanta, and I still haven't been there, but I heard that the venue is amazing.
It's phenomenal. There's so many courts. I mean, there are tape courts, but you know, there's enough to. There's so many. Yeah, it's an awesome venue.
And are you playing with Shay for men's in that one too?
I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll at least play. Like, I am gonna play pro qualifier, um, and then I'm gonna do 5-0 as well after that. Just to, it's good to just play as many games as you can.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm kind of open to playing with a lot of different people.
That's awesome. And I was going to say, I mean, the journey to pro, it's like I feel like that's like the hardest part is navigating, drill partners, also finding, partners to compete with. So what are some of the challenges, that you've seen with that aspect of the sport?
Yeah, it's hard to consistently drill a lot, and finding the right people to drill with can be tough. I actually mostly drill with my brother, which is really nice, and he's not the same level as me. He's probably a 4 or 5, or maybe a little below that, but it's you actually don't need someone that is the same skill level as you to drill. You
Yeah.
honestly just need someone who can just hit the ball back. You can even just get a basket of balls, and they can feed balls to you, if they're not good enough to like hit back all the time, if that makes sense. So, but yeah, it is tough to stay consistent. I definitely get demotivated all the time. To just stay on it and stay working and getting better. Um, but honestly, I've also found a lot of success, actually just like doing work in the gym recently, trying to keep fitness up. I got inspiration from Annalie Waters. Actually, she said that she probably spends 3 days a week playing pickleball, and I just found that crazy because she's the best. So
Right.
I thought she would play every single day, but yeah, she spends a lot of her time in the gym. So I started doing that and actually found like some of the movements kind of translate to pickleball, which is pretty cool.
That's interesting. I've been hearing that more and more. The Walker sisters, they said, that was the biggest thing they started doing is a lot more time in the gym. Even
Yeah.
my mixed partner that I play with a lot here in Nashville, like he only plays pickleball like maybe once or twice a week now and is in the gym like 5 times a week and has gotten so much better. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you're playing less pickleball, but you're so much better on the court. So it's interesting to see. And it's not even, quick feet, like foot movements that they're doing. It's more just like, lifting and running and things like that. So it's interesting that that's seems to be where the trend is going.
Yeah, it is very interesting. And at first I didn't really think it would necessarily translate because you're not playing pickleball. So
Right.
yeah, it is pretty cool to kind of see how, I think somehow like taking a little bit of a break from playing all the time can actually make you play a little bit better because maybe you're just not thinking as much about it, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah.
yeah, it is pretty cool. So that, yeah, I would say try out the gym if you haven't before and see how that helps your game. Who knows?
I
Yeah.
know, because I think there was a point when I was like getting ready for the US Open this year, I like started playing almost like too much. I think I was playing like 6 or 7 times a week. And I was like, you're so tired every time. You're not even improving. You feel like you're almost stagnant. And I feel like that is like having that right balance between kind of like cross training and then the time on the court,
Yeah.
and then just like mentally getting ready for those competitions. Like I feel like if you haven't played in a tournament in a while, you show up and you have all these nerves. So it's also good to like stay consistent too with competing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It can be very overwhelming sometimes to just play all the time, and it's all you're thinking about in your head. So
Yeah.
yeah, it can be a lot of times it's good to kind of take a break and just, relax a little bit. You don't have to just outdo yourself. So yeah.
Yeah. which is great. And obviously you're decked out in Selkirk gear, you're sponsored by them. How did that all come to be too?
Yeah, pretty cool story. I think I reached out to them with like 200 followers or something, like pretty small account. And they were kind enough to, say, not at this point, we want to see maybe a little bit of growth before we can do anything together. So, they gave me like a $50 gift card or something, and I got a hat. um, so they were super kind. And from that moment, I was like, wow, they really respect like people and customers. Um, so I just, kept playing. I got a different paddle sponsor first before them. And that was really helpful to kind of, just start out and kind of learn what a sponsorship looks like. So that I probably had that sponsorship for a good like 6 months or so.
Okay.
And then Selkirk actually reached back out to me with like, probably around 1,000 followers or so. And we just kind of talked. This was November of last year. So that's when I got signed by them. And it was pretty exciting that they came and reached back out to me after I first reached out to them. So it just kind of
Right.
came full circle, and, super happy to represent them because I love the brand. So.
And what really helps you having a sponsorship? How helpful is that?
It's super helpful. For one, I get all the gear. I don't have to kind of worry about, paying for all the things you need to play pickleball. It's super helpful. So, they give me all that. And then plus, we've been talking a lot about, tournaments and how, paying for tournaments, because that's pretty expensive. So, yeah, just they've been super supportive through all that, and can't thank them enough for how much they do for even I wouldn't even consider myself a huge creator by any means. So it's been really helpful in in those so many different aspects.
It's crazy. I mean, paddles have gotten so expensive. It's like $200-300 now, and it's not like a tennis racket where you can just restring it. And it's like if you're playing as much as we are, you really do have to replace them like every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, and sometimes even sooner if you play super often. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's
Yeah.
crazy. And especially with the tournament fees too. Like just from my experience with the pro qualifiers in Austin, Texas at PPA Austin, it's so hard because it's like you have to be there essentially in the beginning of the week. I think I had to fly out Tuesday, and then you don't even know when to book a return flight because
No,
it's single elimination. You don't know when you're going to be able to
yeah,
play or lose and everything like that. So it does make it hard for someone, up and coming, trying to make it as a pro, doesn't really know where they stand, financially too, to navigate that.
yeah. Oh, yeah, I had zero clue, starting out, like, how do you actually go pro? Like, what's the process? Because I wouldn't say like people actually kind of lay it out. So that actually is potentially, an idea that me and Selkirk have been talking about. I'm going to start documenting my road to pro and sharing with everyone exactly what it looks like, flights, hotel, um, because I'm playing, pro qualifier. And again, you said you just have no idea if you're going to keep winning, if you're going to lose the first game. Um,
Yeah.
so, this is going to be a learning process for me going through this, but I'm super happy to share with people how they can do it and how they can hopefully make their way to pro too. So it's going to be a helpful tool, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, I love that idea. And I really don't think that exists because it is so new still that people, I feel like a lot of former tennis players come into the sport, they'll move to like a pickleball mecca, like, in Austin, Texas, Phoenix, Florida, and then they try to like get in the community and a
Right.
lot of them like quit their jobs, or get like some sort of sponsor, but it's
Yeah.
scary, because yeah, you're spending a lot of money on, equipment, traveling,
Mhm.
not having that income come in. So I feel like there are a lot of unanswered questions that could be a great opportunity, like yourself, to help people navigate through.
100%. Yeah, and you even mentioned like the people that move to those booming areas of pickleball. Here in Nashville, it's like there's a lot of demand for it, but there's not a lot of people going pro here. And
Right.
yeah, so, yeah, it's that's another aspect that makes it super tough for someone like me who wants to go pro and trying to find pros here that I could play with. I don't think like Allison Harris, technically lives here, but she goes out and drills in other states all the time. So she's not here
Yeah.
super often. So yeah.
I know it is. It's like a hard path. And then, like, a lot of people are like, oh, do I play PPA? Do I play APP? What have you done? Have you done, it sounds like mostly PPA tournaments?
Yeah, I've only done PPA. I probably will play an APP at some point. I've heard good things about it, but so far it's been all PPA, and then a couple just fun local tournaments I did with my brother to kind of just have some fun.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I know. I think that's the thing too, is like at one point I was getting caught up in playing at like either 5-0 or,
Mhm.
pro qualifiers too. But then like the other day I went to this like Sunday night social event at the Westmead Courts where it was all abilities. And you know what? I like had so much fun just mingling and mixing in with all different types of level players, like, and just kind of like enjoying it and not feeling any pressure or anything like that. It was kind of a nice change of pace to just play with whomever was there and just meet more people in the pickleball community.
Oh, I love doing just having some fun, yeah, because it's so easy to just stay on the grind and only be serious about this game, especially if you want to go pro. So yeah, I've been playing every Tuesday with some of my beginner friends, and I'll even play like left-handed to kind of feel like what it feels like to be more of a beginner. Um, yeah, it's good it's healthier for you, for anyone, to just have fun with the game, because that's why you started, right? Like you had a ton of fun, and kind of like reliving those moments is, I think, really important for longevity of playing at the pro level. You need to have fun with the game. If you're not having fun, I don't really see a whole lot of point in playing.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah.
agree. And throughout your whole journey, just as a, content creator with the sport, journey to pro, what's the biggest thing, like the biggest takeaway that you've learned from this whole experience this far?
Um, the biggest takeaway is, I think it's a lot harder than you think to pursue anything at a high level, whether that's content or pro pickleball. There's a lot more that goes into it, and you have to have a patient and open mind, and learn from other people too. Don't just, don't listen, or like, don't only listen to your own ideas. Be open to other people's feedback, what they have to say, get advice from others, and then through that, just also staying super consistent as much as you can if you want to pursue anything to a high level of degree or high level of success. Um, so a mix of those two things probably has been the biggest thing for me in learning
Yeah.
through this whole process.
And Ty, if people want to find you, follow your page, how do they do that?
Yeah, it's called Good Get Thai on Instagram and YouTube. I think all the platforms are Good Get Thai. So it's kind of a fun name that my dad actually thought of. And if you
Oh,
don't
I
know what
love
that
that.
means, if you don't know what good get means, it's like a ball that's super hard to get to, and you got to it. So I've always been known to get to the balls that are hard to get to. So
Wait, I
yeah.
love that name. I love the meaning behind it too.
Yeah.
And that's so cute that your dad came up with that for you too.
I was just gonna do like Thai Butson pickleball, but I was like, that's kind of boring. So my dad's always good with coming up with like good names or good ideas. So I just
Yeah,
I
something catchy,
yeah,
different.
something catchy. So I liked it and went with it.
Awesome. Well, Ty, thank you so much for joining us, and stay tuned to see who will join us in the kitchen next time.